The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 60 of The Daily Mother Swole. Let's hear it for number 60. It is Swole Nation. What's up, Rebel on Busker? What's going on Periscope and what's going on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher? Ooh, better not add any more platforms. I'm going to run out of breath. So today I wanted to talk about Ectomorphs and about hard gainers, and I think this guy loves himself. I love you too, and yeah, I do love myself, and you should love yourself too, so don't mistake that for an ego. Understand that I am just super fucking happy and I love what I do, so thanks for joining. Ectomorphs, hard gainers, people that have trouble building muscle. I'm not talking about, this is not so much hey, I want to build muscle. This is like I am eating, or I think I'm eating, really hard time building muscle. Now, here's a couple things about ectomorphs. Here's a couple things about those what we call hard gainers. And I definitely want some feedback. I definitely want some questions, and I'll take them as they come. But let me get a couple points across right off the bat. Ectomorphs are people that have really naturally high metabolisms. You're burning calories all the time, nonstop. This is the type of person that eats McDonald's and has abs, eats the house and the box that the house, eats the pizza, eats the box, eats the little white fucking table in the center of it, and just does not gain weight. You got a couple things. You got a couple things that you can do. I'm not one to necessarily go recommending supplements all the time, but you can get in some more liquid calories. You can try some of those weight gainer shakes, but there are a lot of sugar and there's a lot of fillers, a lot of garbage in them. You can also eat more. Now, how do you eat more food? Because if you're not gaining weight, you're simply not eating enough. I know you could be a hard gainer, you could have a really high metabolism, but you can't tell me that if you're eating 4,000 calories and maintaining, that 5,000 calories wouldn't work, or 6,000 calories wouldn't work. We're talking about on a daily basis all the time. So how do you eat more food? It's hard to eat 6,000 calories in a sitting. You need to start eating more frequently. Eat more frequently, eat more often. It gives you more opportunities throughout the entire day to get those total calories in. You don't necessarily have to eat 6,000 or 7,000 calories. That's a lot of food. That is a shitload of food. I have a lot of people coming up to me saying that they're hard gainers, messaging me, telling me that they're ectomorphs. And then when I ask them about their nutrition, they just don't know. They really don't know how much they're eating because they've never really calculated it. So here's what I want you to do. If you're one of those hard gainers, and this can go for people that have trouble losing weight too, the first thing that you can't say that something doesn't work if you don't know what you're actually doing. Obviously your perception is like, oh, I'm not seeing the change I want. Well, how do you know? Are you doing measurements? Are you doing pictures? Are you doing circumference measurements? Are you doing body fat analysis? How many calories are you eating? Oh, I eat all the time, man. I eat tons of food. Well, tell me, what do you eat? Oh, I have toast and eggs. Well, how many eggs? 5. Right there, I'm like, okay. Right there, I'm like, that's it. Right there. First off, you're not eating that much food. I know right away when someone's really not eating enough food. Just because you feel full doesn't mean you're eating enough food. Getting bigger and building muscle means eating more than maintaining. We've talked about this. We've talked about maintaining. Eating more than maintaining. Your body will be hungry. You'll eat. You're full. You stop eating. That's maintenance. Your body does not want to, we talked about this. Your body does not want to gain or lose weight. It's work. It's work to build muscle. It's work to change the composition and lose fat. Your body likes stored energy. It's extra money in the bank. Your body wants to keep it. You don't want to build muscle. You don't want to lose fat. Your body wants to stay the same. Your body wants to be lazy. It's content where it is. That's why most people don't change, because the body doesn't want to. They're not putting the body into the position where it's forced to change. That's what you have to do. You have to force it to change. You have to eat when you're full. I've said this before. You have to eat when you're full. I don't mind saying it again. You have to eat when you're full. You eat when it's time to eat. Food is a tool. You eat when it's time to eat, not when you're hungry. That's why people don't see results, because who wants to eat when they're full? on an evolutionary level, on just a physiological level, your body is telling you, I don't need any more calories. I'm satisfied. You pretty much need to say, no, you're not satisfied. You're going to eat this. Well, I don't want to eat this. Well, tough shit. Put it in your mouth and swallow it. That's what you're telling your body. You're saying, eat it anyway. Eat it anyway. And you have to do it. But here's the thing. If you don't want it to be sloppy gains, you have to eat better foods. And it's hard to eat a lot of calories of healthy food. It's hard to eat a lot of quality sweet potatoes and grass-fed beef or chicken or fish or, oatmeal, brown rice, white rice. It's hard to eat a ton of it. It's just the consistency. But chances are it's very easy. It's very easy to do it one day, to do it 2 days. Try doing that 7 days a week, whether you're working out or not. Try doing it when you don't go to the gym, when you're not feeling metabolically as hungry because you don't need to repair as much. What do I recommend you to eat? Well, that depends. Someone's asked me on Periscope, what I recommend that you eat. You have to start eating a lot. I'm not saying eat junk food or processed foods, but you have to eat quality foods. We just went over this in Swolenormous Premium on the private page, that with organics versus conventional foods, quality foods, certain foods are better than others. Sweet potatoes are great carbohydrates. You can get oatmeal. You can get gluten-free oatmeal if you prefer. You can eat, let's say, white rice or brown rice if you have gluten intolerances or you like rice. I personally prefer white rice over brown. I digest it better. You need to find the carbs that work for you, but you want carbs that are higher in fiber. You want definitely eat a lot of vegetables. That's why it's hard to eat a lot of calories or quality, because they fill you up. They're very satisfying. Let's see, Rebel. Easier way to add calories, do a shake and fat like olive or coconut oil. You can do a shake. You can do a shake if that's what you're into. If you prefer to do a supplement and do some kind of like a protein powder, you can definitely mix in and make it a high calorie shake. You can do that. That's why higher fat diets are great for gaining size, because with the addition of carbohydrates, you're getting more calories. You're getting more energy in. Excess energy is going to return and stay on your body as more overall mass. Now, you definitely want carbohydrates, but you don't want to go too crazy, because then you send that insulin going nuts, and if you're not training properly, you can definitely store extra body fat. But if you're trying to gain, you're not worried about being super lean. You have to pick one. It's generally, guys, it's a myth. Ladies too, it's a myth. I want to build muscle and lose fat at the same time. That's like the holy grail, Unless you're taking anabolics, it's really not going to happen. You got to pick a goal, like anything else. If you want to be a better cyclist, practice cycling. If you want to be a better swimmer, you got to swim. If you want to be a better basketball player, you better start taking foul shots all the time. You need to practice what your goal is. You need to practice what your goal is. You need to train for your purpose. You need to focus on gaining and getting bigger. If you want to cut, then you have to focus on cutting. But pick one and go for it, and you'll have a much higher success rate. If you're new, if you're a beginner, if you're a complete novice, you will see more adaptation. That's where the confusion sets in. Is a lot of times someone who's new to the gym will start training and your body will trim some body fat and build muscle, and you're like, wow, this is possible. It doesn't continue that way. If you're trying to gain muscle and not fat and you eat 10% carbs, can you eat more calories? You're not going to gain a lot of muscle doing 10% carbs. Whoever just said that. One of the things about a ketosis style diet or a fat adapted diet is it's going to limit you with how much muscle you can build, just because you're not getting the carbohydrates, you're not going to get the glycogen saturation in the muscle tissue. Anaerobic training, anaerobic activity is fueled by glucose. It's fueled by glycogen, which is a storage form of glucose. It's fueled by sugar. If you're not consuming a lot of sugar, that's fine. Your body will become more fat adapted, but it will limit the amount that your body can develop in terms of muscle size, okay, and also strength. That's why bodybuilders generally don't do any kind of ketosis-style diets until maybe they're coming up into competition, but still they're doing carbohydrates or lower carbohydrate diets in order to maintain their muscle mass. They're also generally doing a lot of anabolics and steroids that keep hormone levels at unrealistic levels, that keep hormones at unrealistic quantities that maintain muscle mass even through dieting and cutting. If you do low carb and you start cutting, these guys are absolutely shredded. it's all juice, man. It's all sauce. They're taking anabolic steroids. It's just the facts. It's the facts. Half these guys, more than half of these guys on Instagram and on, Facebook and all these social media, I lift weights, I'm huge, I'm shredded. Most of them, if not all of them, almost are taking anabolics. You don't have to look like Ronnie Coleman to be on juice. Okay? Carb cycling can be effective. Carb cycling is generally better for cutting. Carb cycling is better for cutting to keep your body saturated and saturated with glycogen, keep you more full. That can be a great way to maintain muscle size while cutting. But you have to, be careful with carb cycling. There's different ways to do it. You can do 2 days on, 1 off, 4 low, 1 high, 2 medium. There's different ways to carb cycle. Kind of have to see what works for you. I personally, I hate carb cycling. I don't like it one bit. Why do you crave fat more when on a keto diet? Because your body's metabolizing fats. That's your body's now preferred form of energy. If you're on a keto diet, if you put your body into ketosis, it's fat adapted and it's burning ketones, which are breakdowns from the liver from fat. Essentially, your body is utilizing fat for energy more than it normally would. Normally, your body is at rest. Your body is oxidizing fat, and then your body is using sugar and carbohydrates during exercise, during intense training. On a ketosis diet, your body is utilizing blood ketones throughout most all processes for energy. So your body will crave more of that same fuel the same way your car needs gas. Okay? I don't see every single question. So those of you that didn't get those questions answered, you can keep on coming. So ectomorphs, you need to eat more. Bottom line, got to eat more food, eat more carbs. You don't need tons of more protein. If you're having trouble building mass, it doesn't mean you have to go eating 2 grams per pound of body weight. You really only need about 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight when you're gaining. The rest is going to be carbs and fat. Daniel fast, I don't know what the heck that is. So eat more calories. More calories. Your heart feels tired. What is it? I don't even know where to begin answering that question. Your heart feels tired? You can't feel your heart being tired. What do you mean? What are you feeling? I'm getting a lot of questions off topic. Let's keep it on to the end, and then I'll answer some more questions. So a couple more things before I open it up. Lift more often. Break up your training. Make sure that you're splitting your body parts up. You're not doing total body workouts. Hard gainers, you need to increase volume. You need to overload. You need to overload on body parts. Chest on a separate day, back on a separate day, legs on a separate day. You need to create a more volume on each body part, and then you will see more growth. You will increase your cross-sectional area of your muscle fibers, and you will overall see more gains. Smaller meals, larger meals. At those smaller meals, you have to spread it out. You need to increase your total calories throughout the entire day. Fill in those extra calories with carbs and fat. Make sure you're getting enough carbohydrates. If you want to gain muscle and you're a hard gainer, don't do ketosis. Not going to happen. Trust me, you need carbohydrates. Okay. Eat more, lift more. That's pretty much what I'm talking about here for ectomorphs. It's not that complicated. Eat more, lift more. And lift more doesn't necessarily mean you lift for 4 or 5 hours, but you need to do more volume on your body parts. You need to split up body parts so each area is getting more overload. Okay? Overload, more volume, more reps times sets, that's volume. Increase the weight, fail between 6 or 8 and 12 repetitions, somewhere around there, and eat more food. If you don't know how much you're eating, calculate it. Write it down, do your splits, calculate the calories, calculate your ratios. Calculate this. Find out how much you're eating on Monday. Find out how much you're eating on Tuesday. Find out how much you're eating on Wednesday. And then ask me, hey, I'm having trouble. I'm eating X, Y, and Z on these days with this breakdown. And then that's a conversation. I'm a mesomorph. Mesomorph is someone who can gain or lose weight. Okay? You have endomorph, who are people who are generally overweight. Ectomorph are people that have faster metabolisms, that are very lean, and mesomorphs are someone that can kind of gain and lose depending on how they eat. They can control their body. So I'm a mesomorph. Yeah. But I know how I can gain a lot more weight. I know how I can shred up and lean out. It's just a matter of me doing it and doing it every day. Remember, this is not a 4-day a week. You're not doing this 5 days a week. This is not a 9-to-5 job. Understand that losing weight or building muscle is not a 9-to-5. This is not something that you do, oh, I think I'm going to gain weight today. I think I'm going to lose weight today. You know what, today? I want to shred. Many of you have way too many goals. Many of you have way too many goals. I had some guy when I was doing, you saw my snaps yesterday? My snaps yesterday when I was doing the 18 or the 1776, all those reps. I had some guy come up to me. I had a conversation with him, really nice guy. And he was telling me that he's trying out he plays soccer and he wants to get big and he also wants to increase. Too many goals. Too many goals. A lot of you out there and a lot of people want to run. They want to be like agile. They want to do like, Spartan races and they want to do CrossFit or they want to, play sports and they also want to get big, but then they want to have abs and you want to bulk up, you want to lean up, you want to be athletic. It's like, you got to pick something. Pick something. You got to pick a goal and go for it. Otherwise, you're shooting in the dark. Okay? You're shooting in the dark. You're just kind of exercising and you're just throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks and nothing is going to stick. It's all going to slide down. Okay. So, let's take some questions. I'm actually going to leave it open. I'm going to leave the, let's open to a little Q&A. I'll leave the YouTube running because I think this is going to be, no, I'm not actually technically a nutritionist, but I do have a lot of advice for people. Nutritional guidance is one thing. Anyone that gets nutrition plans, for example, online nutrition plans, all these people on YouTube or Instagram that have nutrition plans, be very, very wary because that's blatantly illegal. You're not allowed to recommend nutrition. That's a very high, that's a very high risk situation. So understand that I never say, hey, I'll write you a nutrition plan. I'll give you guides and I'll give you recommendations and I'll guide what you already do and I'll tell you what I do. But you have to be very, very careful because they're not registered dietitians. They're not, registered dietitians or licensed nutritionists. So you have to be careful with anyone that's like, hey, I'll write you a plan. They're just going to tell you what to eat. You could have severe allergies. You could have strong food intolerances to certain foods. So, they could be telling you to eat, let's say, beans, and you might not have like an allergic reaction, but you could definitely have, for example, food intolerances that could cause bloating and stuff that you don't notice, and they don't know either. You got to be careful with what other people recommend you. So I usually like to take what you're already eating, recommend elimination diets. So you can find out what foods you react properly to or get testing. How to lose the last 5 kilos of fat and maintain good muscle. More weights you might want to try. If you're having trouble, for example, losing the last few pounds, getting a little bit extra body fat, I would recommend you could try carb cycling because that's a way where you can go low carb but still saturate the carbohydrates in and the glycogen, the glucose in your muscle tissue. So that's a great way where you can actually shred up a little bit. Have had numerous clients through the years who were already lean and muscular but wanted to just shred up a little bit more. So carb cycling really helped. So that's something that you can look into. And carb cycling, good question. I believe I have a daily Swole on carb cycling. Look through, yes, and my YouTube channel, it's Swolenormous. So youtube.com/Swolenormous. You can look through my daily Swoles, and there is one on carb cycling. I forget exactly what number. Need to lose about 50 pounds and just tone up. You better start lifting weights and eating better. Here's the thing about 50 pounds is that you're thinking you want to do this by October, July, August, September, October. 3 months, it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic. I would not expect to lose 50 pounds in 3 months. That could be very unhealthy. 50 pounds. Not to mention, if you're building muscle, you're not necessarily measuring that properly. 30 pounds, about 1 pound to 2 of fat a week. If you hit that every week for 3 months, you're amazing without hitting a plateau. So 2 pounds a week, that's 8 pounds a month, that's 24 pounds in 3 months. So 24 pounds, not saying you can't lose 30 pounds, but that's about the average. Now remember, that's fat. If you're lifting weights and building muscle, the scale might say 20 pounds because you might have put on 5 pounds of muscle. So you have to understand composition's a lot different than just absolute body weight. But make sure you are lifting weights. Can only walk really awful back. Core strengthening. Look at my YouTube channel, Swolenormous.com, and look at those core exercises, the plank, the single leg squat. If you have a really bad back, you're going to have to really do severe caloric restriction if you can't burn calories. You have to be really careful with that. I would recommend you look into a ketogenic diet. That could be something that's that'd be beneficial to you. If you could just walk, a ketogenic diet could definitely help you lose extra weight. So I would look into a ketosis style diet. Any diets that I have done, I've been vegetarian. I've done carb cycling. I pretty much, I've done the fasting. I do it sometimes by accident, but I like to eat regularly. I feel like I can I'm pretty okay with the way I do it right now. Is it true that you got to eat fat to lose fat? No, it's not true. You don't have to. Ketosis is great for people that need to lose weight. It's really great for people that have a lot of weight to lose because it turns your body into a fat burning machine. And if you have a lot of weight to lose, you have a lot of fat and you can shred a lot more, oftentimes with ketosis. But you have to keep your workouts a little more limited, intensity high, and shorter intensity, just because of you're not eating a lot of carbohydrates. So longer anaerobic, sugar-based workouts are not realistic. Do I have a scope or YouTube about what in particular? I like this. I love the interaction. I'm totally fine doing more Q&A style daily swoles as long as there are questions. I just don't want to come on here necessarily and depend on that because sometimes people are busy. That diet, ketosis, yeah. Does anyone know the number? I can't look it up right now. I have it's one of the more recent ones. Go to my YouTube channel and look at the Daily Swole playlist. I think it's in the 40s. In the last 15 or 20 episodes, there's one on ketosis. So check that out, Tony. And also, those of you that are joining now, a lot of you sound like you have a lot of great questions and you're trying to change your life. You are making a big move. And I did a bunch of snaps on this yesterday. Go to my website too, Swolenormous.com, and take a look at Swolenormous Premium. And I was talking about this yesterday on Snapchat. Swolenormous Premium is my private Facebook group. It's $4.99 a month. $4.99 a month. And when you sign up, you fill out an application which breaks down short-term, long-term goals, the reason why you're training, all the background information, and what you're here for. And once you fill out the application, you get admitted into the group, and you have access to my ebook. You have access to food lists, goal sheets. We do weekly accountability meetings to keep you on track for muscle gain and weight loss. They're private videos, exclusive videos just for, thank you so much, Tony. I appreciate it. They're private videos just for people that are in Swolenormous Premium, exercise videos, demonstrations, foam rolling, stretching tips, yoga classes, yoga walkthroughs. I post when I go shopping. I post on my shopping list what I bought. I do motivational, but things are exclusive just to Swolenormous Premium. So I definitely highly recommend if you don't have a strong social support or if you want that extra push, pretty much you have direct access to me and to everyone else in the group. So it's like a collective brain trust for people that really want to make a change. I want to be consistent. So every week, every Monday so far, unless we change the time, but it's every Monday at 1 p.m., I do a private scope on Periscope. I also put on Facebook Live in that secret group, and we do an online accountability meeting where you can ask any questions, keeps you on track. I update some things on nutrition. So every week you have a check-in to keep you on point. You have direct access, asking questions. It's like group personal training. It's like private personal training, but in a group atmosphere. It's only $4.99 a month for the first 100 people. So there's still a bunch of those slots open. It's growing slowly, but it's a tight-knit group, and it's really solid, and it's really fantastic. So I post a lot of private videos on there and constantly uploading new material to keep everyone on point. So it's a lot of this technical stuff can be overwhelming, and I understand that. A lot of this technical information can be overwhelming. A lot of this knowledge, talk about glycogen and storage and, insulin release from the pancreas. A lot of that is overwhelming, and it just kind of mind-blowing. The reason why I created Premium was to allow for that information to be applied to your life today. So when you sign up, you start getting results right away because it changes your mindset. You could download in the Files tab in Swolenormous Premium, you have my ebook. It's like a 30-page ebook. It breaks down all my ideologies, the most important aspects you need to think about, some education, but really how to approach your goals and what to think about, how to attack what you want. And we have people that want to lose a lot of weight. We have people that want to build a lot of muscle. We have people that want athletic ability, that have certain goals. So you have to figure out what you want. You have to figure out your why you're doing what you're doing, and what your goal is. And then you can move forward. That's really important, knowing what you want. I think a lot of people want too many things, which is fine. It's fine to want multiple things, but at the same time, going after multiple things and spreading yourself thin, especially physiologically, is going to be ineffective. You need to have certain goals. You need to drive a certain direction. Because imagine that. Imagine you can't drive to two places at once. Think about that. You're in a car. You can't go south and north at the same time. You have to pick one. Doesn't mean you can't get both in the long run. Doesn't mean you can't build muscle and then shred fat and be muscular and lean. Doesn't mean you can't have both. It just means you have to pick one. You have to go to one location now. And that's the most effective. You can't go drive to two places, but you can drive north and then you could drive south, if that makes sense. Pick one. Pick one because you'll get there faster. You'll get there more effective. There'll be more quality. And if you want to be muscular and leaner, start lifting weights, start eating properly. Your body, if you're new to it, your body will start trimming fat. You will build muscle. And then once you've built the muscle that you're satisfied with, you can work on maintaining the muscle while you slowly cut the extra body fat. Now, that's a great problem to have. Like right now, if I want to get leaner, I can maintain and shred up, and I have a lot of muscle tissue. But you lose sometimes some water in the muscle and maybe a little muscle mass when you cut. Most people do. They lose a little muscle too. But it's a process. And you have to abide by the process. You have to respect it. You can't just have everything just because you want it. Hey, I want to get bigger with this. Well, you have to know how many calories you're eating. You have to know what you're doing. You have to eat right 7 days a week. You got to train 5, 6, maybe depending on what you're doing, 7 days a week if you're doing yoga or rest day. I'm not necessarily recommending doing weight training 7 days a week, but you have to do these things every day. Week 1, okay. Week 2, okay. Week 3, now you're starting to see maybe a little physical change in strength goals and strength gains. Week 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've been working out hard for pretty much, let's say, like 14, 15 years, okay? 14, 15 years. How many weeks is that? Multiply that by 52. So, and multiply that by pretty much every single day. So understand that this is not something that happens overnight. It's not like, hey, I want to get big. Let me just get big. No, some people might see quicker results than others. It's just genetic, or maybe they're on point more. But anyone that sees results is still doing this stuff every day. They're more often than not, they're consistently moving forward. They're consistently moving towards their goal. You know, I didn't have 180 videos on YouTube in under 4 months because I posted 180 the first 2 weeks and then I chilled out. No, I'm posting a couple every day, like 1 or 2 every day. I'm regular. I post, but a little bit every day. I'm moving forward. I'm moving up. You know, I'm producing. Same thing with weight training. You got to apply this to anything. Relationships, business, fitness. You really have to be consistent. You have to do it day in and day out. Okay? All right. Thank you so much for joining. I'll stay for a couple minutes after on Periscope and Busker and answer some more questions on Premium because I saw a couple people asking some stuff about that. But thank you so much for joining. Ectomorphs, eat more, lift more. I'll also put in the description, this is a Q&A, so some great Q&As. I appreciate the input, and I love Q&A type shows. I would love to have a show where it's just all Q&A. I would love it. But as long as you guys show up, I will definitely look into just doing a Q&A session. So totally rock solid. I appreciate the input. I love the interaction. Thank you so much for joining me on a Tuesday, episode 60 of The Daily Mother. Ooh, swole. I could feel my triceps from those 1,801 reps yesterday. Super brutal. You can still check that on my Snapchat. I'll save the story and post it on YouTube, but yeah, totally rocked. Thank you so much for supporting me yesterday. Thank you for supporting me today. And I'll see everyone tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern Time for episode 61 of The Daily Swole. Peace out.